I hope you enjoyed my video, and I left in the bubbliness of me coming out of the elements, if you like, all weathers in one day. But I wanted to give you some background of what's happened since. So 2015 I had a burnout, and 2016 I went to the Wim Hof Method travel, and I had a very intense 5 days there. And since then I changed my outlook on life, and yeah, and a lot's happened. And then now 7 years on, really weirdly, I had a very intense 10 days over Christmas, and I wasn't able to get out into nature apart from one day, and I really felt the constriction over that period, and I didn't cope too well, although I had although I put a front on that I was still able to function, if you like. So I made up my mind that I wanted to get away from people as fast as possible, and I ended up making the decision to go to the Isle of Skye, which is beautiful. And obviously ended up at the healing pools yesterday, or the video you've just watched. So what I wanted to share with you guys, that through constriction of the time that I went through, and I had to sort of face some things that I was choosing not to address them, because in a way I wanted to address them in another frequency, if you like, or in another time and space. I felt that would be more secure for me to process it. But really weirdly, so I've been having nightmares about it, or related to it, and reoccurring dreams. And after the healing pools, I just had the sensation, or I just had the feeling just to stop going and take a pause and find that stillness. I remembered why I went to the Isle of Skye, because of the constriction that I felt. And back in 2015, 2016, I began to process betrayal and trust, and do a lot of root chakra work. Fast forward now, I kind of felt the same but not so intense, and I thought, what did I do? Is to go back to nature, and go back to trusting myself again. So I did the simplest thing, like I always do. So my video last time, or yesterday, was me going to the fairy pools and then going for a hike in the afternoon to the stores, and I watched the sun and I watched the sunset. So when you have trust issues like I did or do occasionally, or betrayal, I always watch the sunset or the sunrise, and because that happens every day, and that builds my trust up again in nature, in me, for showing up for myself. And then I go and share that out and become grounded or anchored, and then I'm able to open up to others. So I really do turn to nature for a coping mechanism. And after the healing pools that night, I was compelled to watch something, and it was just so, I don't know the right word, whether it's enlightened, and everyone has their own enlightenment, and I feel that there's no need to share much further than that, only because you need to find your way. This is my way. We're all individual, and there is no right or wrong. But that made me have this kind of profound sense of gratitude. So I woke up the next day, and the best way to describe it is like I had like a snow globe, you know, the thing that you shake and it all lands, and the snowflakes land in a different way. Well, that's exactly what happened when I woke up. That I just woke up feeling lighter, like the feeling that I've let go and I've surrendered, just when I was about to give up, actually. And it's just amazing. Like I don't even need to revisit it. So basically the issue that I had a very big resentment for my mum, and it's within me, I know that, and every time I reach out, or every time we speak over the last few years, there's always is met with some friction, and I thought I didn't want to deal with it. I can't deal with it because I'm always hit with a block, and maybe I'll deal with it in another frequency, if you like, and I'm quite prepared for that, and I am prepared for that. But when I woke up that day, I just felt like I had another chance, and it was amazing. And there's a lot that I don't need to do, because it's not my emotional baggage, if you like. So, but I am very grateful for everything that my mum has done, and I really have reached out to her in such a weird way. Even my language is different to her. Like I hold no resentment anymore, and I thank her. So just like my birth mum, yes, she gave me up, and I don't need to know the reasons why. I just know that I need to live my best life. And with my adoptive mum, the only mum I know, she's my mum, has given me the best start, and I'm not going to live in resentment for her not telling me who my mum is. That is not my burden, and I've fully let go of that, and I'm feeling so different within. And when I look back at it, in 2016 I had the intense week in Poland, and then I went on my Camino. Really weirdly, here I had my intense Christmas in Scotland, and then I call the Isle of Skye a little bit of my Camino, a bit of finding that stillness, and that's where I'm in more receiving mode for a higher self, if you like, and knowing what's important and what's not important. So I really hope this makes sense, but I really hold no grudges anymore towards my mum, and I can't believe it. It was something I'd given up on tackling in this life because I tried so many different ways, and then suddenly it just happened massively organically without even trying. There was something that I watched that obviously triggered me, and again, a repeat years ago, there was something I watched there that triggered me about forgiving my birth mum, and that was when I watched Cowspiracy, and I hadn't really understood that when you take a calf away from the cow, the mother mourns for about a week, and you can hear the cow cry. Obviously you take the calf away so the mother can be continued to be milked. And just that, when I saw that, was just a feeling of my mum did care, my birth mum did care, my birth mum did love me, and I don't need to know the reason why she gave me up. And perhaps that's now bringing forward to my adoptive mum, that she is protecting me from something that is not mine to digest, if you like. And I will leave that there with my mum. I don't need to know who the details of my birth mum are, because up until the Isle of Skye, I thought that my mum did know who my birth mum was, or at least her details, and she's choosing not to tell me because it's a privilege to have over me and have that kind of control over me. But I don't think or feel like that anymore, and it's a huge hurdle that I've spent all my life living in that grudge, resentment, state of fear, and I do not anymore. So I put that down to the healing pools and watching that snow cloud coming over me, because somatic, I literally had somatic healing, because in Poland my big shift was doing my hike, and it was a very similar sensation with sideways snow coming along on the Isle of Skye, and that made me have this kind of buzz. And then that night I processed a lot, and my cells have woken up in a different way the next day. So, and I'm just trying to make sure that this is true, and that I am in this way, and it is. So it's been a while since I've reached out or spoken to anyone, and I've spoken to just two of my dear friends, and I'm genuinely very happy. I'm now building more of a relationship with my mum, and I feel it this time, so I don't just rationally go, yes, I should love her. She's my mother. I do love her from my heart, and I am very grateful for so much she's given me. I've had 2 chances in life, and it is time now for me to say that I'm ready to share and hopefully guide other adoptees, if you like, that this way has worked for me, and perhaps it might work for you. And I spoke to Wim about it over the summer, and my initial feeling was I wanted to go back to Brazil, to an orphanage, and to volunteer there, and Wim said it was a great idea, and I said yes, it is exactly what I want to do, because at that time my mum gave me the gift gave me the gift to survive my fate, if you like, had I not gone into my mum's hands. And I wanted to go back to the orphanage to repair my relationship with my mum because I wasn't feeling in a good way with her. I still had that resentment, so that's why I want to go to the orphanage in Brazil to help build that bridge back to my mum and the connection to my mum. But I don't feel that at all now, that I need to go to an orphanage in Brazil to feel that connection to my mum. What I would like to do is still go to an orphanage in Brazil and share the tools and coping tools that I have, and just see them for who they are, and share a good way of joy. And yes, maybe their life is limited, but it doesn't have to be, and they don't know any other way. But maybe I can be a voice for them, to give them some non-educational tools, but just some emotional coping tools, and that would be fantastic. Or bringing it forward to this country in the UK, or maybe a bit further out, how you heal that primal trauma, or that primal wound, if you like, or the betrayal, or that feeling of the unknown, or the that you don't belong. I genuinely have turned a huge corner, and I'm able to speak up about everything now. And I haven't really tackled the issue with the fathers yet. So I've done the mothers. I know I have 4 parents, and they sit in the shadows of healing the wounds with my mum. So I'm really looking forward to 2022, in the sense that I've let something huge go, and I feel like I'm just in a different way. But it is thanks to the discipline of the Wim Hof Method, of showing up for myself every day, going into an uncomfortable situation, or going into nature, going into the water. And once in a while there's a huge shift. That one time in the water has really helped me overcome a huge hurdle in my life, and that I am grateful. So whatever your practice is, keep showing up for yourself within that practice. Don't overcomplicate it. Keep it simple every day, or as often as you wish, and there will be a time it will come through to you. Because up until the Christmas, and I even remember speaking to one of my dear friends, that I just said I give up with the relationship with my mum. I'm done. I'm okay with whatever happens to her and me, and if it's not resolved, it's not resolved. There are some times in life you need to walk away for your own sanity, and that might still be the case, that my mum still doesn't really want to see me anymore, but that's fine, because that's her journey. But I just know, and I just love her to death for all the opportunity that she's given me, and it's just fantastic to be alive and live this enchanted life. And thank you everyone who has given me all the tools and the advice and the talks to piece this together for me, and help me finally let go of something that I didn't know I was going to let go of, and it happened massively organically. So I'm really sorry for this huge long vlog. Yeah, something amazing with breath work and cold water and somatic healing. Full embodiment of life.